Yes, nice. Hello there. Welcome to worship at First Congregational Church. We are a worshiping community within the United Church of Christ, and we're so glad you came. And Shannon Michael is out today on a working holiday, but they will return to service this week. Lori is back from sabbatical in the Rocky Mountains. I'm sure the weather was great. My gosh.
They're getting food. But thank you to Deshay for covering for me the 3 Sundays I was out so I could enjoy paradise.
Wonderful. A couple of notes. We will celebrate communion next week, as that will be World Communion Sunday. And doing so will give us an opportunity to take communion and this be in community with our fellow human beings throughout the world together. Stewardship will take place next month. I'm sorry, this month. Oh my gosh. Right? I'm used to being next month, but we bumped it up this month to give us a jump for budgeting. And Veronica will have more to say about that in the week to come. And again, Veronica is our moderator-elect. Well, I am excited that we have a host of saints participating in the service today. And with that, I invite you to settle in and listen to what the Holy might be saying to you. So let us begin with the words we know so well. Come, let everyone in all our sacred spaces receive the love of God in and through this community. No matter who you are or where you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. Let us greet one another with the peace of Christ.
I'm good. Thank you.
Will you come and follow me if I but call your name? Will you go where you don't know and never be the same? Will you let my love be shown? Will you let my name be known? Will you let my life be grown in you and you in me? Will you leave yourself behind if I but call your name? Will you care for cruel and kind and never be the same? Will you risk the hostile stare? Should your life attract or scare? Will you let me answer prayer in you and you in me? set the prisoners free and never be the same? Will you kiss the leper clean and do such as this unseen and admit to what I mean in you and you in me?
Thank you. How's that? Okay. Yeah, this is my first time doing children's time, so thanks for being patient with me as I work out the kinks up here. I just realized I had a necklace and I lost it. I'm really, hang on, I'm worried. Can you guys help me look for my necklace? I had it, and it's really special to me, and I'm feeling can anybody see? Does anybody see my necklace? Oh, oh, I'm so relieved. Thank you so much, Dylan. Okay, thank you. I was so worried. Thank you, Bonnie. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you, everyone, for looking. Have you guys ever lost anything? Many times. And how does that feel when you all of a sudden realize, oh my gosh, I'm missing something really important? Confusing and bad, and what else? You did leave your phone at Miss Holly's house, yes. And it's not a good feeling, right?
My water bottle's at my friend's house, and my lunchbox is. I cannot tell you how many sets of retainers I've lost.
Dylan, I can relate to this. So what happens, how do you feel though when you find something that you've lost? Achieved. Yes. Yes, like how did I do this? How did I leave this here? I felt really relieved when you all found my necklace. Thank you. Have you ever, like, you yourself been lost? Like either you got separated from your adults when you're out, or maybe you didn't know where you were going on your first day of school. Have you ever had that feeling? All the time, yes. You have been lost with me. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, but how do you feel though when you finally sort of get yourself figured out and you figure out where you're going? Pretty good. It's a relief, right? So, let me ask you another question. Have you guys ever just felt lost? Not like been lost, not like not knowing where you were going, but like felt lost, like you didn't really know what to do in a situation, or you had a problem that was really weighing on you. Have you guys?
Test and escape rooms and other things where you can literally be lost and you're like, what? Where's the clue?
Right. Totally.
New lockers this year.
Yeah, where that can be really challenging. So, yeah. Feel lost. Someone in your community. So sometimes when I feel lost and I'm having an off week, I really look because this community always found and loved, and I think that's a really, really special thing that we all bring. If you look out all these These are all people in your community who care about you and will help. With that said, does anyone have any concerns or joys to share with Pastor Mike today?
What you got? Yeah, the Florida hurricane. Yeah. What else?
Concerns for those who still haven't been found in Hawaii.
Oh, yes, concerns for those in Hawaii. Still dealing with that. What about you, Charlie? Yeah.
Charlie, you are so focused today. I
Very.
love it.
What you got, Bonnie?
Prayers that my dad's friend's wife will get better.
Dad's friend's spouse will get better. What else?
We have a joy at our house that all the 7 kittens are growing and
Opening their eyes.
doing great.
Oh, yay, the kittens are doing great. They're growing. Nice. All right, well, thank you for those. We're going to hold those in trust and see if we can expand our circle of joys and concerns. Y'all want to head back, do that. Friends, the Holy invites us to hold the needs of our neighbors, our siblings in Christ, as dear to us as our own. So let us take a few moments to center ourselves, to find respite in a stillness as we are able to come together as one. And when you are ready, I would invite you to call out your joys and concerns. We'll add those to what was just mentioned. Let us pray for those who suffer and those in need. Prayers for Stephanie Cuba and her family as her father is in the hospital. Prayers for Pat and Elaine as they continue their journey. Prayers for Faye and Jay as Faye is back in the hospital. Oh, nice. Joy for Julie's niece, who is crawling, becoming very active. Thanks to those who participated in Room at the Inn and the ministry that provides. Thank you. Russ offers prayers for all those suffering the effects of climate change, so many devastating ways. Deshay offers prayers for discernment and thoughts for a friend facing difficulties in work. Prayers of joy for Cooper, Betsy's grandchild born. Great nephew. I thought there was a nephew in there.
Holy One, may we settle our racing minds. May we open our hearts to your word to us today. Help us, O God, to deeply hear and to allow ourselves to be changed by the meaning of your words today. And after we hear, after we listen to the teachings of Jesus, give us the courage to take his words out of this place into the world we live in now. May we who claim that God is still speaking look around and listen differently today. May we see the lost at stoplights holding up small signs, begging for money so they can eat. May we hear and see the news every day telling us the lost are being arrested. Even as we brush past the lost at our places of work and at our schools, may we be aware. Help us, O God, as a community of followers, to be present, to listen, and to receive. Because, O God, tomorrow is up to us to step out from the comfort and the companionship of the 99 and to seek, to pick up, to carry the lost. In this life we live now, in this our culture, in this our town. May it be so for us. Amen.
Amen.
Way over yonder is a place that I know, where I can find shelter from hunger and cold, and the sweet tasting good life is so easily found. Way over yonder, that's where I'm bound. I know when I get there, the first thing I'll see is the sun shining golden, shining right down on me. Then trouble's gonna lose me, worry leave me behind, and I will stand up so proudly. The true peace of mind way over yonder. Is a place that I've seen. It's the garden of wisdom from some long ago dream. Now maybe tomorrow and I'll find my way to the land where the honey runs in the rivers each day, and the sweet taste in good life is so easily found. Talking about way over yonder, and that's where I'm bound.
Our scripture today comes from Luke chapter 15, verses 1 through 2, then skipping to 8 through 10. We'll read from the inclusive translation. And it reads, "Meanwhile, the tax collectors and the sinners were all gathering around Jesus to listen to his preaching, listen to his teaching, at which the Pharisees and the religious scholars murmured, 'This person welcomes sinners and eats with them.' Jesus then addressed this parable to them. 'What householder who has 10 silver pieces and loses one does not light a lamp and sweep the house in a diligent search until she finds what she had lost? And when it is found, the householder calls in her friends and her neighbors and says, "Rejoice with me, I have found the silver piece I lost." I tell you, there will be the same kind of joy before the angels of God over one repentant sinner." Thus ends the reading. May the Holy One rest within us as we seek meaning in this text. Once, when I was a child, my mother dropped me off at my grandmother's house, her mother, to spend the day. Now, I love going over to my grandparents' place. They lived in a modest home on the edge of town. It had small rooms, but so did many of the homes that were built in the early 50s. And if I got bored inside, I could always go outside and play and venture into the surrounding pine forest. Now, I particularly enjoyed being over when my grandfather wasn't there. Not that I don't like my grandfather. No, it was more to the fact that the stories seemed to always circle back to him and his experience, or to activities he preferred. Perhaps you have noticed that as well in talks with your relatives over time. Now, this one time, I remember being dropped off, and I came into the house and found my grandmother to be anxious and worried. And normally, I could see her peeking her face around the kitchen corner with the biggest of smiles. I was her only grandson. if I must admit. But this time, I found her pacing around with the broom. Shoving it under the cabinets and tables and counters. And I said, Gran, what is it? And she replied that one of her rare coins she collected had come up missing. So I joined in the search on a different adventure of sorts. Now, this thing was quite valuable to my grandmother. She did not have a job to go to. She worked from home as the head of their little household. Not by choice, though. Her role was to keep the income, pay the bills, while my grandfather had the benefit of a place to go for work. She was isolated to the house. Well, in a similar fashion, Luke reminds us that there are many ways of being lost. Now, I think we all know that feeling of finally finding something, whether it is a coin, a keepsake, or perhaps even a feeling of faith. And the text for today, at its simplest, is about having and losing and searching and finding. And as the inclusive reading indicates, Jesus invites his grumbling critics to imagine the devotion of a person responsible for the financial affairs of a family who loses a silver piece. And upon discovery of the loss, they are so committed to the search that they light a lamp and sweep the residence until they find the coin that has gone missing. Now, such a story being told by Jesus to a gathering of tax collectors, to sinners, and religious experts at one of the influential Pharisees' dinner parties. So we can assume that all of the Pharisees who were somebody or anybody were there. And at this point, the Pharisees were murmuring. They were complaining amongst each other, even to the point of outrage, that Jesus dines with the marginalized and the social outcasts of the time. That Jesus welcomes them into his presence at the table. And Jesus can hear them. No, there was no rejoicing at this party. But understand that Pharisees are not always trouble for Jesus. There are plenty of examples where they are simply pointing out his distinctiveness. But note that whenever Pharisees and scribes are together, there is antagonism lurking underneath. Now, I imagine that Jesus noticed a stable of sheep as he came to the house of this influential Pharisee. The family with this person's influence would have been wealthy enough to keep sheep for their sustenance. And perhaps lamb was even on the dinner menu that night. So Jesus seeks connection with them and attempts to move them with the compassion of a shepherd so caring that he finds a lost sheep and carries it home. And when that fails to move them, Jesus asks his grumbling critics to imagine the devotion of a woman so committed to her search that she will burn the midnight oil itself to find the one coin gone missing. Now, in the world of this text, the coin, this drachma in the Greek, was worth about a day's wage for a male, 2 days' wages for a female laborer. Even more interesting is that we know this particular woman is poor. Whether she has earned the money herself or her husband has left it with her for safekeeping. We know this because she lives in a modest, dark house with a low door that doesn't let in much light. So the woman has to light a lamp, which alone could cause her further anxiety because of the cost of the lamp oil she's burning. And she can only find her coin by sweeping and listening for the rattle of the metal against the hard dirt floor. Now, Everyone loses something from time to time. A lot of money and time is spent preventing the loss of valuables. Did you know that in Japan there is a very efficient system for lost and found? Every year in Japan, millions of items go missing. In 2019, the Central Lost and Found Center received over 4 million items, which is close to 8,000 items per day. And that is the place where all lost properties are stored in Tokyo. They can hold as much as 600,000 items at a time. Now, how it works is that lost items are delivered to the koban, or the neighborhood police station. Officers there patrol the area, they help with directions, they accept lost items found by others, and even care for people who are lost. And of course, listening to citizen complaints. Items that are failed to be picked up at the koban are transferred to the Central Lost and Found Center, with Tokyo's being the largest in Japan. Workers there note that there is a high rate of return for mobile phones at 90% and wallets at 70%. And not so much for umbrellas that are so easily replaceable. In fact, it's not uncommon for someone to turn in an envelope in the equivalent of $9,000 cash. You can imagine that. Well, it seems the community-based approach and the ubiquitous nature of the koban system make it easy to report a missing item. And children can often be seen returning lost items to the koban. Perhaps the first time people interact with the police in their lifetime is when they bring lost items in. And that, in turn, creates a close relationship between the local officers and the community members. I wonder what you might have lost. A pocketbook? The phone number to an acquaintance? An identity, perhaps? Just as the people of Japan value these systems that are lost, these items, so too does the householder in this text. What is it that you value? If we probe a little deeper at what lies beneath, we find that something else is going on in the text before us. Something seems to be lost in translation. It seems that the word calls in, rendered calls together in the NRSV, well, in the Greek, it means to call together or to summons in the plural, as in summons all of your friends, summons all of your neighbors. And in the stories of Mark and Luke, it most often refers to the whole, meaning the group is particularly incomplete without the entirety of the individuals, whether it be the whole of the influential Pharisees, the whole of the 12, or the whole of the worshiping community. So the question laid bare before the text that I brought is, what God would forsake another? Ultimately, the divine by way of Jesus has flipped the script on the powers that be by inverting the embedded value structure so strongly embraced by those who feel the need to separate and be separated from others. Yet, entropy always increases with time. Beloveds, the Holy One is a divine force that values all, each and every human being in the world, every creature. And rather than honor the social constructs that serve to marginalize and discriminate, the kingdom of God operates on a divine economy of love that values each and every person because they are persons. She searches diligently for a response to that love and to have a relationship. And the joy of finding that relationship is so abundant it cannot be contained. One person alone cannot adequately celebrate it. And such calls for a gathering to which others are invited. Now, there is a universal truth being told in this story that is not limited to Christianity. It is one that is relevant for all of our lives and times. Artist and fellow minister Sarah Hochhalter frames it this way: Jesus seems to be saying that in God's expansive love that yearns to be found for each one of us, there is such joy when the connection is made or rediscovered. This finding of an infinite and holy love may happen at any time, even in each moment. And perhaps a key part of these lost and found parables is that we find glimpses of God, holiness, divine love. There is a desire to share that with others. Here is the Reverend Hochhalter's sketch of the lost coin. Such is the divine response to the recovery of the lost. It is a reversal of status and destiny. I suppose this church functions like a neighborhood Koban of sorts, perhaps even a lost and found center of divine celebration, a place to come and find grace, to find redemption, to find hope, a place for those who feel disconnected and lost, a place where everyone has value simply by being made in the image of God, as God created them to be and become what the holy is calling us to be in this moment as individuals and a body. In short, a place for all. A place where anyone can be and feel welcome, no matter who you are or where you are on life's journey. Thus, our church is a center of joy, a center of celebration, a center of reveling in what God is doing and will yet do. That, my friends, is possibility. That all persons can find a life of love and justice in communion with others and the divine. God searches for us, finds us, embraces us, and rejoices in the communion. This love is abundant and tireless, and God will not be denied. Thanks be to God.
We come now to the opportunity that we have to present our gifts in gratitude and in love, because the gifts that we bring are not so much because the church needs our money, but because we need to give, to show that we are part of God's people and that we follow God's injunction to be generous, to be good stewards, and to offer ourselves as well as our gifts. Let us receive this morning's offering.
Love will guide us, peace has tried inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the dark night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. You are like no other being. What you can give, no other can give to the future of our precious children, to the future of the world where we live. Here we go. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. Love will guide us through the hard night. Nice job, everybody. All right. And we have Zane again. Thank you, Zane, for being here. Oh, here we go. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise God, all creatures
May God bless us in our giving, bless the gifts that we have brought, that we may use them for God's purposes in love and in joy, day by day. Amen.
Will you love the you hide if I but call your name? Will you quell the fear inside and never be the same? Will you use the faith you found to reshape the world around through my sight and touch and sound in you and you in me? Lord, your summons echoes true when you but call my name. Let me turn and follow you and never be the same. In your company I'll go where your love and footsteps show. Thus I'll move and live and grow in you and you in me.
To all who participated in service today, thank you all for coming. We have such amazing and talented people here. Very blessed. Together, we make this church what it is. Now, go forth in kindness, creaturely ones, for the holy does not demand more than we can give. No, they invite us to unlock and to lift away all that holds us down, so that all beings everywhere might be free and cared for. Go blessed.